declutter your plans for the next 10 minutes because I'm going to be sharing my best tips and mindsets that always help me declutter. My name's Hannah and I've been on a decluttering journey for several years now. I know some people can declutter and let go of things super easily, and I'm not one of those people. There's a lot of tips that I've heard on YouTube videos that frankly just don't work for me, but today I've compiled all of the tips and the thought shifts that have brought me success before, and I'm excited to talk through them again as I enter into another wave of decluttering. For me, I'm thinking of most of these things in relation to clothing, but most of them can be applied to whichever category you are working on decluttering. Also, feel free to take or alter whatever resonates with you and leave the rest. Let's get into it. Number one, starting off with a heavy hitter, one of my favorites, it's going to be uncomfortable. Humans are simple creatures, and often we have these feelings of discomfort to warn us when something isn't right, something isn't safe, so we can get out of there. But sometimes those feelings of discomfort are tricking you out of doing the thing that you know is in your better interest. For example, if you're in a situation where someone starts putting a needle into your mouth, you're going to get out of that situation. But if you're at the dentist and you're there to get a filling, and they're injecting you with Novocaine so that they can do that filling, so that your teeth can be in better health, you're going to sit through that pain and that discomfort because it's going to lead you to an end that you want. I feel like when I go into decluttering not expecting to feel uncomfortable, then my reaction is to try to stop or try to keep more things, because keeping things will alleviate that sense of discomfort. But if I go in knowing that the discomfort means I'm doing it, it means I'm doing something right, then it makes it a little bit easier to sit in that feeling. Think about it more like if you get a good workout in and you feel sore the next day. The soreness might be a little uncomfortable, but it's also your body recognizing that you did something differently. And that discomfort you might feel while you're decluttering is just how it feels to make this positive change for yourself. Number two, if I don't do it, it's never going to get done. I'm not suddenly going to wake up as a person who declutters with absolutely no problem. I'm always going to be me inside my brain, and the only way I'm going to get better at decluttering is to sit in these uncomfortable feelings and make progress. But if I'm putting it off in this week, in this month, in this year, I'm always going to be in this part of my life where I'm living in the reality of having too much stuff. I'm never going to get to the side of my life where I can do the things that I imagine I can do after I declutter. When I can come home from work and enjoy watching a TV show and not feel guilty that I'm not cleaning. I'm always going to have to live through this current moment of discomfort, whether it's now or in a month or in 10 years, if I ever want to get on that other side. Because if I don't do it, I'm never going to be on that other side. Number three, ask yourself, what am I scared of? I feel like a lot of these anxieties about decluttering are kind of just feelings inside of me, and making myself name those feelings or articulate those feelings helps me make an argument against them. For me, it usually just boils down to I'm scared of having a feeling in the future of, I wish I still had that. I'm scared of having that pang of regret for something that I once had that now in this moment I wish I did, but I don't. However, right now I'm living in the discomfort of having too much stuff. That's a definite feeling. That's a definite reality. So is preventing that possible future pang of sorrow worth living in this definite present reality of having too much stuff? When I think about it like that, the answer is simple. No, I can have those feelings in the future. And I could say, oh, I wish I still had that. That will be it. That's what I'm scared of, but that does not sound as bad as right now living with too much stuff. Now we're moving into more so questions I'm going to ask when I'm looking at particular pieces. So number 5 is, what am I keeping this for? Do I think I'm suddenly going to become a person who wears this? Am I keeping it because I think it will fit me in the future? Decluttering can be hard because there is gray area. I'm not someone who's going to tell you that every single piece that doesn't fit you in this moment you have to declutter. I know for some people that is very therapeutic, but for me, I tend to, at least at this point in my life, I opt to keep the pieces that I love that fit me at a different size. So sometimes if I'm looking at a piece that doesn't fit me now, I might ask myself, if I did fit this, would I wear it today? Or am I keeping it for hypothetical on hypothetical? Am I keeping it for if my weight fluctuates 10 pounds different than it is today and I get invited to a tea party? Both things that are unlikely to occur, at least especially at the same time. Similar to the last one, making myself articulate the reasons I'm keeping this can be helpful in catching myself having too many hypotheticals piled on top of each other. Number 5, do I imagine this in my future life fantasies? In the future, I hope to own a home one day, and I imagined myself in this home, in this life that I imagined for myself in the future. Is this there? If I have my perfect closet one day, is this in my perfect closet? Or if it's something that I'm not really using, is this in the basement of my future house? And if the answer is no, when am I going to get rid of it? Am I just keeping it now so I can get rid of it later, but it's still not in my ultimate goal? And if so, why not just get rid of it now? Why am I keeping this to delay the decision when I know ultimately I don't want to keep it? Number 6. What is the impact that having this makes on my life? For example, I was just thinking appreciatively the other day of a black zip-up hoodie that I have because it's so convenient to grab when I want a little bit extra warmth. I feel cool in it, it feels comfortable, and it makes getting dressed easier because that goes with so many different outfits. But there's also a lot of things that I own that have a negative impact in my life, and they make getting dressed harder because they're not an actual option in my drawer, and it clutters up my drawer from me seeing the things that are actual options. Number 7, would I return this? Often getting rid of clothing just feels so deep and heavy and emotional, even though it shouldn't. And I asked myself, is there another way that I get rid of things sometimes that doesn't feel like that? And it's when I'm able to return something. So either way, the item is leaving my possession. So now I'll hold up an item, I'll say, would I return this? And if the answer is yes, it goes in the return bag. Of course, returns do come with money, and a lot of the time getting rid of clothes doesn't. But it's more about the mindset shift of, is this something that's worth staying in my collection, or is this just something I'm holding on to because I already have it? Tip number 8, declutter in whichever way you need to right now. I've gotten myself hung up before trying to declutter perfectly, trying to sell things online, but often if I have hundreds of items and I need to make a multi-picture listing with a description and measurements for each of the items, that's going to take hours of work. It's going to take multiple trips to the post office when things do sell. It's going to take storing the things in my house until they hopefully eventually sell. And each time something sells, I feel like I have to make that decision all over again to confirm that I'm letting it go. So sometimes for me, the best decision has been just put it in a donation bag and let it go, and vow to not continue making the same decisions that brought you to this place of having too much stuff. It's not your responsibility to be the keeper of these items for the rest of eternity. You need to do what's best for you sometimes and declutter in whichever way you are capable of right now. Number 9, ask for help decluttering. If you have someone in your life that's not just going to say, yeah, throw everything out, or, oh no, keep everything, then be vulnerable. Open up to them. Ask them for help. Ask them to sit there and be a person that you can bounce things off of. Sometimes you're going to hold up a tank top and you're going to say, oh, I used to really like this and I've had it for a really long time, but now it's not in good condition and I never wear it anymore. And they're going to say, why are you keeping it then? Get rid of it. And you're going to say, oh yeah, I should get rid of it. It's really helpful. It can be a little unnerving to open up to people like this, but people love to be helpful. And you're just asking for a little bit of their time and patience. I think you'd be surprised by how willing people are to give that to you. Number 10, ask for help donating. If you're filling up a donation bag, I found it to be really hard to drive it over to the drop box myself and have that final fateful push of the bag in. And I've been able to ask a family member if they would do that for me. I let them know it's something that I struggle with. I've let them know, please don't do it when I can see you leaving the house with it because that stresses me out. And we've developed a system where I can have a bag of donations. I'll put a post-it on top of it that says donations, and then the bag disappears. This, just like the last one, it takes being vulnerable. But if you have someone in your life that cares for you, especially if they can see how much you struggle with having too much stuff, they may be willing to do this for you. Also, if you are doing the prior step and asking for someone for help decluttering, you could ask them if they would take the bag with them when you're done decluttering. So it's not sitting around in your space begging to be reabsorbed into your stuff. Finally, number 11, trust yourself. Don't second guess yourself. Once it's in the donation bag, it's in the bag. It's not up for debate anymore. You are smart and capable, and you made the best decision you could. Don't second guess that. So there you have it. There's my 11 best decluttering tips and mindset shifts that have really helped me as someone who struggles a lot with decluttering. Let me know which tip resonates with you the most. If you have any other helpful tips, please share them down below. I would love if the comment space becomes a resource of more decluttering tips so we can all reach our goals. If you're new here, I would love if you subscribed. This is mostly a makeup channel, but I also do fashion content, and I'm also trying to lean a little bit more into declutter content because that's something that I feel really passionately about. So I would love it if you subscribed and you let me know what you want to see next. Either way, thank you so much for being here. Bye.